that story about Turtle Island, and that's what that means. Now in 1682, when William Penn came, the chief of the Delawares, like this man, the Lenni Lenape chief, was named Tamenund, which means the affable one who was kind and generous and supportive in giving to the people. All these stories that I'm telling you, he knew them. He knew the story of the great flood, of the creation. He could recite the great songs, recording their genealogies of 100 generations before the coming of Europeans. And they had a great longhouse called the Big House. And every year they did this ceremony. It was called the Gamwe, the Big House ceremony of Thanksgiving. And I asked myself, what is it that's so special about Pennsylvania and Philadelphia and William Penn? Why is this place absolutely unique in the history of the Western Hemisphere? And it is because William Penn and the Society of Friends had a spirituality that respected the original people of this land. The law of respect. They hadn't forgotten that. Most of the other colonies, the people came hoping for a quick buck, a fast profit. Let's rip them off as fast as we can and sell that land and get some money in our pockets, some gold. In fact, when the first European came, Verrazzano, in 1524, it's a great story. I wish I had time to tell it. But they kidnapped a Lenape child and took him back to Europe. Just like Columbus did, just like all those early explorers, they kidnapped kids. First thing they did, so they could take them back to Europe, teach them the English language or the Spanish language or the French language or the Dutch language, and so that way they could then train a group of people in the language of the native people so that when they came back on the next trip, they could ask the golden question, where's the gold? Okay? That's why they kidnapped them. They kidnapped those kids. It was terrible. They did it. I can document it. I can prove it. They bragged about it. You know? They took Pocahontas over there. You know? They did it. And William Penn was different. He understood what it was like to be persecuted. He understood what it was like to be a minority, to be a Quaker, to be different. And he had this sensitivity for the native people. Wasn't perfect, I'll mind you that, but I've looked into the documents and I trust you, he was a unique individual and the Friends were unique people. And they would sit in their meeting houses and they would wait and hope that the Creator would speak to them, that they might have a message, a vision. I think that's a very powerful thing. And so did the Lenni Lenape, his ancestors. They were impressed by this, that these people were kind and giving and generous, and that they had a spirituality that instead of saying, God the Father told me to take your land away from you, and that, you know, manifest destiny, and God had intended for me to steal your land. No. William Penn was different. They joined hands in peace and friendship with that wampum belt down there. They made a pledge. And just like in the Friends meeting house, when they had that spiritual message, that they waited for God to communicate with them, instead of having somebody interpret and tell them what they were supposed to believe, they felt that each person had a personal relationship with the Creator, and that the Creator might deliver a message to you. That's why I said earlier that if you all unite behind this treaty park and behind the Lenni Lenape Nanticoke Nation, that you may have an inspiration. You may have a vision that may help change the course of history. I really believe that. Now the Lenni Lenape, when William Penn went into their longhouse, he learned that the core of the Lenni Lenape religion was dreams. That each and every person could have a dream. I have a dream. And that the key activity that took place in their longhouse, in their big house, was that they would sing their dreams. And then the people would chant the dream back to them. And when they sang this dream, they would have a sacred ceremonial rattle. That they would shake this rattle to the tempo of their song, because everybody could have a sacred vision. And what I have in my hand right now is that authentic, original rattle. The one, you want to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're bored. You don't want to see this thing. You want to see it?
Yes.
Here it is. Here is the original rattle. It was passed down among their people for I don't know how many generations. And notice that the face is half red and half black, because we both have the capacity for positive and negative. And that the handles have the red and the black. And that man that was, I passed that notebook around, that Frank Speck, he's the one who collected this over 100 years ago. It is the real, authentic thing. It is like that wampum bell down there. This is the real artifact. It is not something make-believe. I can't let you just pass it around, but I want you all to get close to it and see it. And now as I close my talk to you tonight, let me tell you that I have only just begun. There's a lot more stories to be told. I hope you'll invite me back again another time, and I'll tell you some more stories. But before you leave tonight, come up and look closely at this rattle. I'll stand up here as long as you want to come and look. And go downstairs and see that original wampum bell. At some point I'll move this down there too, so that way you can see these things. This is something I especially want that little girl to see right there, because she is our future. She is our hope. If we pass on those original teachings of this man onto her, then her children and grandchildren will have respect for his great-great-grandchildren. And this land, this special place, this place of the brotherhood of peace and friendship, that this might survive for generations and generations and generations to come. That is our pledge. That is our hope. I hope you'll join us in this good effort. Make that treaty park work. Have these people recognized. Let them be honored forevermore. Thank you for that.